of land. They developed a capital there, Monrovia, after President Monroe. And a lot of the American slaves did return here. And I had a friend that was working in the South African embassy in Monrovia till 4 years ago. And he said this, the population of Liberia is still divided between the population that came from America. They are the haves. And then you have the original population of Liberia, the have-nots. So there's a little bit of a tension there. Even Liberia's flag is sort of a replication of America's flag. Also stars and stripes, one star and the stripes. So, yes, even America had a colony, but this colony became independent in 1847 already, and is the oldest independent republic in Africa. Okay, now let's look at the French. So you can see this area is all French control. It had 8 colonies and 2 protectorates. Now, protectorate is an area that is governed by a stronger government. So the French protected these areas. And Morocco and Tunisia was 2 of these areas. So the French was mostly in the northwest of Africa, and these countries still speak French. Germany. Now, I want to stand still on this a little bit longer. They had 1 protectorate, Togo, where is that now? This thing is blurry. For me,
between Nigeria and the Gold Coast.
Yes, there it is. Sorry. And 3 colonies: Cameroon, German East Africa, and what is now Namibia, Southwest Africa, German Southwest Africa. So, German East Africa was divided, is now divided into 3 countries: Tanzania, Burundi, and Rwanda. Now, all of you know about Rwanda. That's where you want to go to see the wild gorillas. You can go there. But it also had a very troubled past, and I don't want to stand still on that because it's a little bit depressing. Now, Namibia. Now, here I was part of the history. I went to work in Namibia in 1988. So, 1988, okay, first I'm going to say this. All of these colonies of Germany was captured by the British during the First World War. So they became British, and Namibia was administrated by South Africa. It became a 5th province of the country at that stage. So my first job was in Windhoek at the University of Namibia, and it was like being part of South Africa. It was no difference. And within 2 years, the whole process that made Namibia independent, that was demanded by the world, happened. UNTAG arrived to the United Nations task force, and they went through the whole process of independence, administrating the election process. And for me as a South African at that stage was very uncertain, because you didn't know what will happen in future, because they rewrote all the laws of Namibia. They rewrote the university law. So it meant that although I'm at the university, it wasn't sure whether I will have my job tomorrow, because I'll have to reapply for the work that I'm doing now. So to escape this uncertainty, I returned to South Africa. And ladies and gentlemen, I must tell you, with hindsight, I think I should have stayed in Namibia. It's a good country. You will be going ashore in Namibia, in Swakopmund and Walvis Bay. Get off the ship. See those two cities. Swakopmund, tiny little town, but with a very, very strong German character in the built environment, in the houses. I don't know where they will take you, but do that. If you go to Walvis Bay, they will take you to, you'll get off at Luderitz first. I think you'll get off at Luderitz. Sorry about that. When you're in Walvis Bay, that had a very, very strong South Africa military presence there. You will go to Swakop, and also very, very strong German characteristics. A wonderful country, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now Portugal, as I said, they weren't interested in southern part of Africa because of the Cape of Storms. So they had Angola, they had Mozambique, where they had trading posts, and these two countries became independent in 1975 and 1974. But about that I will tell you tomorrow more, because I'm going to look at decolonization tomorrow. So, ladies and gentlemen, concluding remarks. The European influence are clearly visible in Africa. You will see it in the built environment. When you get to Cape Town, you'll see which of the, I don't know what the trips that you will do, but you will be able to see the Dutch influence, especially if you go to the Boerkaap. Now, I'll give a lecture on the Boerkaap too. It's a fascinating little neighborhood of Cape Town. You will see it in the areas of the older areas of Cape Town, the gardens area, where the houses have more or less the same floor plan, but you can definitely see the Victorian style of these houses. So yes, the Europeans brought infrastructure to South Africa. And I can remember when I was living in Namibia, we took an American professor, fantastic old man. So retired, he came to Namibia. And we took him north to a game reserve. And the roads at that stage, I haven't been traveling on the roads of Namibia for some time, were excellent. And he said, look at the roads. If it wasn't for South Africa, there would have been no roads like this. And sometimes later I thought to myself, yes, it's true, but why was this road built? It was not for the advantage of the local population. It was built to move troops because South Africa was heavily involved with the border war and to move troops to the north. So this road wasn't humanitarian at all. There was a reason for it, to move the troops northwards. So yes, we have all these infrastructure development, but to whose advantage? At that stage in Namibia, not for the Namibians. And I remember he had a speech, still on Namibia, he had a very good speech one day. That's just before independence. And from Windhoek towards the coast, there's an area, Carrara, who have very good deposits of marble. But some of the marble isn't that good. So he said, why, to generate income, why don't you dig into this unusual, usable marble, big cavities, and you can let the rest of the world pay you to store their nuclear waste. And initially I thought, yes, but nuclear waste. But this is a dry, it's the desert, no water, and the marble isn't usable. So this old gentleman was maybe not that wrong. So the Europeans even envisage a railway line from Cape Town to Cairo. It never happened because there was a German part in between. So it would have gone up to Cairo. It was envisaged. And some of the railway lines were built, but it never came. And if they could build this railway line, it would have been longer than your railway lines across America from the east to the west coast. If it happened, it didn't. So, ladies and gentlemen, the developing countries, Europe, brought in a large number of good things to Africa. But there's a sting in the tail. There's always what they took out. So, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And again, if you want to ask something